This is the Rotolight Titan X1, and without a doubt, it's one of the best 1x1 light panels that I have ever used. It's also one of the most unique and advanced lights of its kind out there. Rotolight sent me this unit to do a review for you all. The opinions that I'm going to share are all mine. I wasn't paid to say anything good or bad or otherwise about it, but they did allow me to keep the light so that I can make future videos with it if I wanted to, and maybe give you a more long-term review. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the Titan X1. If you're unfamiliar with the Titan X2, this 1x1 panel offers you a lot of next generation features that the X2 offers, things like touchscreen controls, as well as their SmartSoft technology. This is pretty trippy, check this out. Just like other 1x1 panels, you've got this array of RGBW lights that are adjustable from 3000 to 10,000 Kelvin. Rotolight really changed the game here though by bringing their SmartSoft technology, which originally debuted in its bigger brother, the Titan X2. Instead of having to place diffusion material over your lights to soften it up, you could actually change the diffusion, focus, and spread of the light electronically just by turning a dial or by using a wireless wDMX controller. This will come in handy for filmmakers who want to have the option of getting a nice soft light without having to bring a bunch of light modifiers with them. Speaking of not having to bring things with you, the Titan X1 actually has 1400 filters built into the unit that emulate the colors of filters made by Lee and Roscoe filters. One of the things that I really appreciated as I tested this light out was the build quality. Unlike other 1x1 panels that I've used and own here at my studio, the Titan X1 is really built like a tank. If you appreciate quality construction and materials, then you're gonna be hard pressed to find another light out there that can match it. The other thing that I really appreciated was how smooth and effective the touchscreen controls are on the X1. Being able to tap the screen to adjust settings, navigate the menus, made the process of setting up the X1 super easy. There are so many features on the video side of things that I could probably make an hour-long video and still not cover it all. On the photography side of things, there are some interesting features that the X1 brings to the table. The headline that they've put out is that the X1 is one of the only lights in the world that gives you high speed sync RGB lighting. That means you could change the light to up to 16 million different colors, along with your standard white that you're used to with speed lights and strobes. You can do this using their Skyport trigger like the one that I have here for Sony cameras. And the cool part is that you have the Skyport receiver that's actually built into the unit. So you don't have to connect any receivers or anything to the Titan itself to make it work. I used the X1 for a couple of photo shoots, and unfortunately at the time of testing this, I didn't have the firmware to make the flash feature work, but I'll have that firmware update soon, and I'll do a separate video showing those results for you in the next few weeks. Anyway, I used the X1 for a recent shoot, just using it as a constant light, and I was really impressed with the light quality. Oftentimes when you're photographing people with LED lights, you get this weird green color on people's skin that's really a pain to remove in Photoshop or in Lightroom. The Titan X1 had no problems there thanks to its excellent CRI and TLCI performance. Shooting portraits with constant lights has its pros and its cons, just like any other light source out there. For me, the pros would be that using a mirrorless camera like my Sony a7R IV, I could see the exposure of my image in my viewfinder before I take the image, which saves me a lot of time not having to adjust my settings to get it to look the way I want it to. The light quality is soft and can be softened even further by adding additional diffusion when necessary. Another pro, which is really the main attraction for me, you're able to shoot stills and video that basically end up looking identical. Let's say I'm shooting stills along with video clips for a beauty or a product campaign. I could be 100% sure that I can get both assets, the photos and the video clips, to look the same without too much work. This is a big one in my opinion, as I'm personally finding more and more commercial gigs that are requiring photographers to be able to deliver those types of products, and the X1 allows me to do just that. With LED lighting, there are some things that take some getting used to when you're shooting stills. Unlike high-powered studio strobes, it's a little harder to shoot at higher f-stops like I normally do, where I'm shooting at f8 100 ISO. With the Titan X1, I was shooting studio-style portraits pretty comfortably at f5.6 ISO 400. Now, if you're willing to push your RAW files a little bit more in post, you could try to push that a bit more, but that is something that you may want to consider if you're like me and you mainly use studio flashes at lower ISOs. With that being said, I think Rotolight really knocked it out of the park with this new light. The combination of features like the SmartSoft diffusion, the built-in special effects and filters, premium build quality, the High Speed Sync RGB functionality, it makes it a no-brainer for anyone looking to get the best bang for their buck. Speaking of bucks, this light will retail here in the US for $39.99. Rotolight is running a special for a limited time where you could save $1,000 now through December 31st. I'll put a link for that in the description of this video. Once I get the new firmware installed, I'll be doing further tests with this light. So if you have any specific questions or things you would like for me to test out for that video, let me know in the comments section below. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to my channel as I'm releasing new videos here all the time. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.